as you see, the topic is not quite corporate social responsibility. It was the play of the session. Since I'm the organizer, they changed several times. But I'm very happy to be here with you. At the end, there is a small component on CSR. But the main topic is about a very ugly word, no, that we don't like it. That make us have a nightmare, no, is the word of profit. No? So in general, when we talk about profits, it's something that we immediately listen to Milton Friedman, who describes the only goal of the society, of the company, as making profits, and we all feel very bad about this because it does not fit sometimes very well in the image of the company that is doing good for society. Here's a paper, I have it here, and I print a few copies. I let you see something. It's a very dense text, okay, so in order to make a presentation in 15 minutes, it was difficult for me to choose what I want to convey, what not. So I will put a few slides, we'll have some discussion, knowing that by definition it would be impossible to get absolutely everything that I wrote about. But the basic idea, of course, a celebrated sociologist said every book can be summarized in one paragraph. And the other joke, I say every paragraph can be summarized in a sentence. So probably my 20-page paper could be summarized in a sentence. The idea is that, yes, that some kind of profits of some kind of companies are something that signals that the companies do act for the common good in the interest of society. So this is the idea. But when I say some, that means a lot of conditions, and it's about these conditions that I talk a lot in the paper. So myself, I'm an economist. I used to teach the black box, the firm, and neoclassical economics. And when I start to thinking about profits, I realized that I have some many things to improve and to learn about. And I realized that the basic neoclassical economic theory that we teach to our students actually does not say much about profit. In the wonderful neoclassical world, in perfect competition, when we are in equilibrium, well, firm, if they maximize profits, because we assume that they maximize profits, well, but the biggest maximum profit should be zero. Okay, so if there are not, if not zero, neoclassical economy said this company is doing something wrong. Okay, so is it true? Probably not. In principle, probably company doing positive profit in a competitive environment are doing something good. But if we had to come to this explanation, we need to go away from the neoclassical explanation. So the neoclassical economics, the outline of the paper is here. So I have an outline. I am a very serious person. So it's neoclassical economics. And neoclassical economics, when you come to the corporation led to the shareholder ownership theory of the firm. But here I have a vision of profit, I told you, that does not fit very well with company doing positive profit in competitive environment. So if you want to say something about this, we need to take a look to Austrian economics. Economics. Where firm can do positive profits, and I'll explain you why, in a competitive environment, just because there is the entrepreneur. The entrepreneur, he is a person different from the other who can detect imperfections in the market. We like entrepreneur in ESSEC. Amit likes entrepreneur, too bad that he's not here. We wanted our students to have an entrepreneurship spirit. But these entrepreneurs will be guided by detecting unexploited opportunities in the market. And this Austrian economics talks about these real people. So neoclassical economics is a theory of abstract players with very strange conclusion about people, how they behave, and companies. Okay, they should not make profit, should be zero. This is a theory about flesh and blood persons that act in the market and change things. It's actors of change. And I prefer this theory when I'm talking about profits, not my neoclassical theory that I'm teaching systematically. And here, if you have this entrepreneur, in the Austrian economics perspective, entrepreneurs set up the firms. But these days, we have the corporation, here, which is a big entity with shareholders, stakeholders, many layers of management. And where is the entrepreneur there? Maybe at the origin, Thomas Edison created General Electric, but no longer. Today, in modern hybrid corporation, intelligent organization, these entrepreneurs are within the firms. They are people who create opportunity, who come up with ideas, who make things advance. So my whole discourse will be about entrepreneur within the firm. So my explanation is based on Austrian economics because it deals with the entrepreneur, but I put them within the firm. So I'm talking about these internal entrepreneurs, who are those who produce at the origin of the profits of the modern corporation. And this could be seen as a huge modesty and humility, as an entrepreneurship theory of the firm, of the corporation. Entrepreneurship theory, blah, blah, of the corporation. And problem is this is something relatively original, more or less, because everybody talks about internal entrepreneurs. Okay? Everybody talks about the corporation, everybody talks about Austrian economics, but in this context, theoretical context, I explain why it's good for society that this company go for profit, go for the highest profit. But I won't talk of profit maximization like them, because profit maximization needs that you can optimize something. You need to have a plan, you need to know production function, you need to have objectives, to have constraints, and to solve the engineering problem. But you can go for the highest profit naturally, instinctively, driven by motivation, just in order to. And if you do this, you are in this mood, you are going for the highest profit. As Milton Friedman said, he did not talk about profit maximization in the engineering side, because sometimes we tend to believe that Friedman was kind of a narrow mind. No, he was a genius, okay? So sometimes when genius is something, I am tempted to say that he is firstly right. And then before I criticize him, he was the first to say that the European Union cannot work, okay? All the French journalists mocked him. Okay, so I'm coming back. So sometimes if we were thinking twice, though, for the company he says the same things. So I want to say, before I say it was wrong, I want to think twice. And thinking twice to me means to go back to the entrepreneur. So this is the story, so I have 20 slides. I try to put it shortly in 10 minutes. So this is the basic idea where I'm starting from. Because it's true that there is some fascination these days to criticize the company. Okay? They should do better, they don't do enough, they pollute the planet, they exploit people, they mock consumers. Is this true? When I think to where we are living today and where we lived 20 years ago and when we lived 100 years ago and more, I think that we live now much better. Life expectancy has increased, the quality of life has increased, living standards have increased. I'm talking about the Western world. And even developing countries who adopt this developing mode are growing. Okay, with limits, we're discussing externality, pollution, things that must be checked. But overall, the contribution of companies is huge. We talk about corporate social responsibility. The company should do this, should do that, should take care of one or the other. But they have, first of all, one major responsibility, the company. What? To deliver goods and services and to innovate. Do companies, this is the social role of the company. To produce, okay? To produce goods, are they fulfilling this role? In general, yes. Okay? What would be the world without internet? All of you have a tablet, a cellular phone, chat to our kids in the US, and through internet, life is better because you are sure that the kid is doing well at home, no? So all this innovation, they were driven by companies, okay? So when a company performs in this way, she's fulfilling a social role. Now, Aristotle said, one thing is good when he's doing the role for which it was conceived well. And the example is given by, I like the example given by a Greek philosopher, contemporaneous, talking about Aristotle, Athanasius. She said, it's like the knife. A knife is good when it cuts well, okay? So the company is good when it delivers the goods and services and the flow of innovation, but how? In an efficient way. Who said efficient way? Said cost minimization, without waste. So how can the work be good if company waste resources? So this involves what virtue ethics requires. It requires good judgment. So when company minimize cost, is the same thing. It's the reverse of the model of maximizing profits. Okay? So these are two elements, and about the company. And now I'm shifting to something else. Neoclassical economics, profit maximization. Well, neoclassical economics never said that company should maximize profit. Neoclassical economics is a theory of prices. So neoclassical economy want to explain how prices are determined in the economy. Believe me, this is a very difficult task because you have many goods, many prices, and it's not easy. So you need to simplify many things. So they took an extremely simplified vision of the company. But we cannot ask them to provide a theory and everything. So if they take a simplified version of the company, the discussion of profits within the neoclassical version is almost meaningless. Okay, so they need a goal. They said, okay, this goal is instrumentally relatively good, so let's use them. But their main challenge was not to talk about company, not to talk about profit, was to talk about prices. Can neoclassical economics explain well prices? So far, I don't know any other theory that can explain why my pen cost 2 euros and this bag costs 30 euros, except neoclassical economics, okay, who will explain why the cost of the bag is 30 euros price on the market. But we should not ask them to say a lot about profits. So in the world of profits, their implications are limited. Sometimes if we try to transform normative economics into positive economics, what the company do in should maximize profits, of course, this is a silly project, because we cannot say to a company what you do. To any company, you know all the constraints, you know all the environment, you know everything you can add in your head. Even the brightest manager cannot introduce in his computer all these constraints and parameters and be able to find out the optimal production plan. So it's always a process of try and error. So that's why the word of leading agent is not well described by neoclassical economics. Who describes well the theory of price? Is the Austrian economics, where you have the entrepreneur, this spatial agent who wants to create, looks for opportunity. He's a person different from the other. He has a skill, he has a gift, okay? And some of them will get very rich because these gifts, they know how to exploit them. But all of us will benefit from the innovation. If Steve Jobs came with an idea with iPhone, for me, it's, well, everybody has an iPhone nowadays. The guy see where the wind is going, okay? 20 years ahead of the other. So the company is doing well, company is doing well, and between us, as a joke, Steve Jobs never liked corporate social responsibility. He said nothing, we don't care, this is lousy, I don't want to invest, I don't care about. He was a tough person, an odious person, and I not agree because he does not share the same value as me, but I can understand that the Apple company contribute to the progress of something, okay, of the common good from this point of view. So this would be the story there. And the last point where I want to add, because, okay, my slides are, this is a great writer on the entrepreneurship theory of the firm. The last point I would like to add. So if profit are created by these internal entrepreneurs, but they are entitled to these profits, said Israel Kirzner, on a finder-keeper principle. Indiana Jones goes into the jungle, finds a treasury, and fights with crocodiles and snakes, and he's entitled to keep it. Entrepreneurs are entitled to this profit. And here I come. Okay, here I will part a lot with neoclassical and the corollary, the ownership theory of the firm, who said that the firm should be run in the interest of the shareholders. Here I will completely differ. I say, yes, the firm should go for the highest profit. But this higher profit should go to the internal entrepreneurs, one way or the other. This is my normative proposal. But actually, in positive word, it's it's almost this way. When you look to modern corporation, how many performance pay systems they have implemented? What is stock option? Stock option is to give the right of someone clever who comes up with an idea and develop a product and develops the company to take the profits from shareholders. Because stock option takes profit from the shareholders and gives them to those who innovate. Variable pay in many companies. So all these big companies, all these big corporations actually have implemented methods where they take profits from shareholders and give to those who come up with the ideas. And the word goes like this: you must reward people who innovate. Be them outside the company, be them those who create the company, or be them the internal entrepreneur. And internal entrepreneur you can have to all the level, even of the production level, the lowest. If the guy has an idea how to improve the process, it's good for the company, it's good for him, it's good for the world. Normally, we all think the top managers are the leader of, and in many cases they are. But it's not the only possibility. Shareholders themselves might, if they have a way to impose a helpful restructuring, a helpful dynamic of the company, why not? They could be entitled. They are entitled, shareholders, to the price of the capital, which is the opportunity cost of equity, risk adjusted. Okay? So this is what they have the right, the fair right as a market price, but no more. And the addition of profit should go to the entrepreneur. So what a company, if I want to be technical, but here too bad that my friend Nicola is not here, in respect in accounting, I would say is to maximize, what they should maximize is to maximize the variable part of the compensation. So this is my talk in 20 minutes, yes, because sorry for being a little bit not very structured, but it's very difficult to be structured on something that is a long paper in 20 minutes. Just about my conclusion here, but I will repeat the same thing as I told you in a more or less informal way. So about CSR, yes, I say companies do good when they provide goods and services that are demanded, compensate people who place their resources at a fair price, make positive profit, try to increase them over time, and distribute economic profit towards those who are entitled to this profit. So I say it's a very modest thing. You can say it's a banality. You are telling us trivial things. But it's not trivial to say profit is good. Okay? Go for the highest profit, but give in to those who created it. Okay? So this is my modest contribution to the debate.